Hello, good morning everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this presentation, application of AI in teaching construction technology. But before we go technically, I'd like to ask you a question that I have asked actually in the poll. I had a poll today on Mover. I asked a very hypothetical philosophical question, which is, if I tell you that I'm a liar, I'm a liar, will I be saying the truth? You see, on the poll, 60% of the people said that I'm bluffing, and I'm bluffing, because they used the human judgment. However, AI doesn't have any judgment. That's a good AI, by the way. That's Perplexity, and that's the paid version of Perplexity, disapproval. Okay? It didn't figure out that I'm bluffing. This is something that most of AIs are missing, which is the gift in your heads, human judgment. Okay? They can learn whatever, they do whatever equations, but they are missing human judgment. But do we need human judgment? Yes, for sure. Specifically in applications related to designing for a certain problem or analyzing it in a depth. So the point is that there is something special in this industry that we are working in, which is that the type of problems we are dealing with have high analytical and design elements. So we cannot just miss the human judgment. We cannot just miss it. It's impossible. So the issue is how to deal with it with the AI. So this is the question. The thing is that the generative AI have different factors into it that deal with things in a different manner than the human body. Okay? So the main objective of this research is to identify how can we deal with the points of weakness that our students within our higher education sector, within this specialization, are facing when dealing with AI. How to educate them to how to be the leaders of AI, not to make the AI lead them. The question here is mainly, who is the boss? You or the machine? This is the main question. So I made an experiment in a course that I'm teaching. It's called the Construction Methods and Equipment 2 course. So it's mainly covering the issue of AI literacy. We had 7 assignments with varying nature. Some of them focusing on analytical part within the course, others focusing on design part within the course. Okay? The design problems, you could say. The students were asked within each assignment to solve a specific problem, to repeat the solution that they have done manually using a generative AI, whatever AI they choose, and provide us the solution and compare and comment. Tell us, what did they reach? Why did the AI solve or not solve the problem? So the point here is also related to something very important, which are the course outcomes. The outcomes of this course. So the outcomes were fairly distributed on the assignments, you could say, somehow. So the assignments were designed so as to cover all the course outcomes. And the problems selected from each assignment to be repeated using an AI were also deliberately covering these 4 outcomes. Okay? So these are the 7 different assignments. If we categorize them, we have 3 assignments with analysis problem, mainly. However, we have 4 other assignments with design problems. Design problems here you're either designing a formal system, for example, that could be used as temporary structure, or you are designing an equipment operation. You are fully designing it so as to choose the proper equipment to do the job. So here, I'm asking the students to pick and giving them the specific problem within this specific assignment, redo it using AI and show us what will happen. So we had a quantitative analysis and a qualitative analysis. Quantitative in terms of analyzing the percentage of correct solutions that was reached by the AI. Qualitative in terms of looking at depth. Where did it miss? Where did it miss? So the degree of complexity of the problem, of course, was varying depending on the assignment, the nature of the assignment, and depending on, you could say, the nature of the problem, you could say. So let's look at some results. In terms of qualitative analysis, this is, for example, a problem that I was asking the student to draw the mass diagram, and based on drawing the mass diagram, calculate the average hauling distance and calculate the number of trucks needed to do a certain earth movement job. Okay? So simply speaking, the person should simply get the quantity of sand to be moved and divided by the truck capacity, and that's it, give me the number. That's it. However, the two curves are totally different. The one on the right hand side, this is the correct solution. The one on the left hand side, this is the AI solution. Totally different mass diagrams, totally different curves, which ended in a totally different end result. So you could see here that you could have a problem at which the issue with the AI is accumulating. It's taking a wrong decision at the first step, and then it could continue with the same wrong decision unless you tell it that he's wrong. Then he could even make another mistake and accumulate a third mistake and so on. Keep on accumulating mistakes. Okay? Also, for example, you could have a case at which it's missing a main concept, a main design concept. For example, here I'm asking him to do to select the proper backhoe to do an excavation job. Okay? So he selected a hoe based on whatever thing he has from the internet, and that's it. However, there was a certain criteria for safety, and put the word safety with a bold and underline it, that he missed. The AI simply missed to check the safety of the excavation job, that this backhoe should do it safely. It simply missed it. So here is the human judgment that's missing here. Another thing, when designing for the formwork, the AI missed totally a main design criteria, which is the deflection design criteria. Anybody here who knows structures knows that there is a deflection design criteria for any structure. The AI missed it totally. Didn't know about it. Calculated stresses, everything is safe. He said everything is well done. However, he missed two major criteria here, which are the relative deflection and the absolute deflection design criteria. In terms of quantitatively, of course, you could see here 3 zeros. 3 zeros. 3 of the assignments, there was 0 correct solutions reached by the AI. 0 correct solutions. It's shocking, but yes, that's what's happened. Okay? And by the way, it's not a coincidence that in the 3 assignments, they had a very high level of design element. Mainly. It's mainly a design problem. In the other problems, it reached some solution, but again, the percentage is low. I mean, if you look at the percentage as a number, the highest percentage ever was reached in assignment 2 because the problem was very straightforward, by the way, and it was 37.5%. So that was the AI that was super lucky to give him a simple problem to do. Okay? What's that? Okay. So there is something I have done, which is that, okay, at the end of this experiment, I told the guys, okay guys, you have did a very nice job in the assignments. Your exam is a take-home exam. And you have the freedom to use AI if you want. From the first place, 85% of the students chose not to use the AI because they have been proven to themselves that they are not doing a good job with AI, so I'm not using it anymore. Thank you. Then the remaining percentage, 11% used it unsuccessfully, again. And only one out of that group of students, which represents 4%, he did the correct solution using the AI, he did it properly, and I gave that guy the full mark. Because he proved that he was the boss. And you guess what? How did he do it properly? He was the boss. He was the boss of the AI. He didn't do the mistake that everyone else did, which was, most of these mistakes that got us these 0 correct solutions was simply that the guys were throwing the problem at the AI, leaving it to do whatever hallucination it would do. However, that smart guy, he did something else. He gave it the thing part by part, one by one, one by one, one by one, piece by piece, piece by piece, as if you are dealing with a young kid, spoon feeding, piece by piece. And then, when the AI does a mistake, he doesn't know there's a mistake here. There's something wrong here. And the AI corrects itself. So now who's the boss? The man is the boss. So, in conclusion, the main conclusion we could get out of the whole thing here is the fact that the people didn't do a good job simply because all the rates were very low, all the correct answers were very low, simply because they were just giving the problem in full to the AI without doing anything to monitor this solution. So it's recommended to give our students the know-how on how to deal with the AI from the first place, how to make it the junior engineer and the student will be the senior engineer who's assigning the job to the junior, or like that. Thank you. And of course, I need to acknowledge all the students who were part of this study. And I'd like to have a good day, and I'm ready for your answers.